what kind of training should you really do? Now, I wasted years jumping between strength programs, blow splits, influencer workouts, and I still had a soft, blocky look. Now, if you're confused too, then watch this. I'll break down what actually builds an aesthetic body. Now, the reason why I started with a 5x5 program is how it's programmed is the strength goes up, and as your strength goes up, then your muscle growth goes up too. Now, in theory, it makes sense, but in reality, the story is very different because I still had that soft look. My body still stayed square, and I was quite like, I just was not aesthetic. Then I moved on to the bro split. Now, the bro split is, as you might know, it's like chest one day, back one day, legs one day, arms one day, shoulders one day. And so I didn't start explaining what 5x5 is. And what 5x5 is you do 5 sets of 5 reps on certain exercises. So every single day, every single workout day, you do 5 sets of squats. Like that's every time in the program. Then you would either do deadlifts and bench presses, or you either did some kind of back exercise, and I can't remember, but it was that kind of thing. And you only work out 3 times a week. That's a 5x5 program. And the blow split is you work out every single day, 5 days a week, and you have 2 rest days whenever you want, and you train everything once a week. The pumps are good, right? Don't get me wrong. You have a lot of energy. You get good pumps in, but I felt like I exhausted bro splits very quickly, very quickly, and I felt as though, like, personally, I felt like I wasn't getting enough volume. And what I mean by that is, say you train chest on Monday, the next time you train chest will be the following Monday, and for me, that just simply was not enough. It just was not enough. But because like Thursday, Friday would roll around, and I would still, I'm not hitting chest. And then it would be 2 more rest days, or depending on whenever you have your rest days. The next time we would hit chest would be on Monday, and it just simply was not enough days for it just was not enough volume, enough intensity. Then I moved on to push pull legs. I did push pull legs for a while, but I felt like it was, at the beginning I felt like, you know what, this is good. Like, the exercises are optimized in terms of, you know, how the bodily movements is. So push, when you do push, you do chest, you do triceps, you do front delts and side delts, and then when you do pull, you do back and biceps, and you do rear delts, and on legs you do legs. I tried to kind of engineer the push pull leg split. So I would do push pull legs. Let's just give in terms of example, I would do push on Monday, pull on Tuesday, legs on Wednesday, then Thursday I would have a rest, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday what I would do is I would do chest and back, and I would do arms and shoulders, and then I would do legs again if I felt like it. And what that would do is, and why I did that was I was basically trying to get more volume in for certain body parts. So when I would do push, I felt like what I was doing at the end, which would usually be triceps, I felt like I did not have enough energy to hit my triceps properly, simply because of the volume was so high. And I also tried other ways to navigate around it. I tried to basically lower the amount of exercises, change the order of the exercises, you know, play around with the sets and the reps, but I felt like I just could not find a good balance with that. That's why I tried to do push pull legs, and I would do the Arnold split. And what the Arnold split is chest and arms. Oh, sorry, not chest and arms, chest and back, and shoulders and arms, and I would do legs as well. But I feel like I still, like, I had a big margin for improvement on my arms, because for a long time I wanted to grow my arms. Then I also did obviously chest and tries, back and bis, legs and shoulders, and I felt like that was alright too, but I wanted my shoulders to basically be more aesthetic, to gain a lot of size and strength in my shoulders, because shoulders are very, very important in terms of aesthetics, in terms of angles, in terms of how you look, how you're perceived. And I just wanted to grow my shoulders. So what I actually teach in my school community, in my program, the Elite Body Blueprint, is we do chest and triceps, we do back and biceps, we do legs, and then on the 4th day we do shoulders and biceps again. And the reason we do that is, and the reason why we have a 4th day for shoulders, primarily just for shoulders, is because we have legs and we have shoulders. So the last time you actually work your shoulders intentionally or even unintentionally is like 48 hours before your shoulders. So your shoulders have a good rest, basically, so they're at full strength for you to hit them again. And within like couple of months or 6 weeks, you could see massive results. And the thing is, you can also hit your biceps again too, because we do shoulders and biceps, and it just made a massive difference. And I felt like that was a big, like, the program matters a lot in terms of getting to an aesthetic physique. So in terms of what makes an aesthetic physique and what we actually focus on, and what we want to focus on, is you want to focus on the upper chest, you want to focus on the shoulders, as I mentioned before, specifically the side delts, your traps, your upper lats, your biceps, of course, and your abs, but your abs is more of a body fat percentage thing. So that's basically what we want to focus on. With the other programs I hate, they didn't really have a focus. They didn't have really focus. Like, you're going to the gym, okay, you're doing 5x5, you're trying to get your strength up, but my strength was up, don't get me wrong, the program does work, but I felt like I did look like I went to the gym. Do you know what I mean? I wasn't looking aesthetic, I wasn't looking lean, and my body shape was just not amazing. I was doing cardio and whatnot, trying to lean down, but I just had that same skinny fat brown guy physique. Bro splits for fun, as I've said before, but they just were not enough volume and intensity. Push-pull legs were good. Some people might actually prefer push-pull legs just because you can be in the gym 3 days a week, and depending on the intensity, the sets and the reps, the only thing they could do is maybe they could just do push-pull legs once a week, and that could be their program. So if you're someone who's like wants to go to the gym 3 days a week, one day you could do push, one day you could do pull, one day you could do legs, and that could be all right for you. But for me, I wanted something that would make me look more aesthetic, more volume. And obviously I love going to the gym, I love working out. So that was a real good, even though it's a 4-day program, like 4 day on 1 day off, that was a really, really good program. And I actually teach it to everyone in my school community. And the main thing as well, which is very, very important, is you need to be progressively overloading. And what progressive overload means is you want to be always growing, always trying to grow, and always have this thing in mind, have this little motto in mind: harder than last time. Which is a bit, is a bit is a bit suspicious, but the thing is, you always want to push yourself. There's been seasons in my life, where I've just forgotten that. I've forgotten harder than last time. I've just not really focused on progressive overload. And what happens is, you just go through the motions at the gym. You go to the gym, you do your workout, and you just go home. You don't really think about anything. You don't really think about, I want to push myself on this incline bench, I want to push myself on this cardio, I want to push myself on these dips, on these pull-ups, anything like that. So progressive overload is what matters. In theory and in reality, what actually works is every program will work. Every program will get you muscle as long as you're progressing. You're getting your weight up. And there's other little things as well, like weekly sets and weekly reps. We'll come on to that in a second. But progressive overload is very, very important. Don't get that wrong. But once you pair your progressive overload with a serious aesthetic training program where you're focusing on the aesthetic muscles, which I've just said, pair that with a good diet, good sleep. I'll make a video on sleep as well, maybe next week probably. But you pair all of that together, and you'll be a brand new person pretty much. And there's some things which you can't really account for, like say you get ill or anything like that, but the main thing is you need to be consistent, control your diet, control your training, control your sleep, and you'll be absolutely fine. And a few of the brown guys, I need to touch on this, man, because sometimes I'm guilty of it too. Brown guys, they make this mistake, or they have this, not reputation or anything like that, but they've got this tendency to kind of skip legs, which is a very, very big mistake. Very, very big mistake. Like instead of training legs, they'll go and train their chest. And what will that do is, in the long term, it'll give you like an unbalanced look. And what that means is you'll be top heavy and your legs will be very, very weak. And I've actually got a little anecdote, a little story to tell you about this. When I first started training, I call it training, but I was just in my home gym, and I was pretty much just messing about with the weights. But I would work out every single day, and I would just do like a set of everything besides legs. And I would play sports and everything. And there came a time where when I was playing sports, my lower back was hurting very, very much. It was hurting so much. And another thing, I would skip on abs. And what that did was it caused a muscle imbalance, and because of that my lower back really, really hurts. Like it used to hurt, and even a few months ago it started hurting again, and I think it was because of my diet, my posture and things of that nature. But once I sorted that out, I started fixing my muscle imbalances. I actually found this out online. I watched in a video, and the guy said you might have muscle imbalances, so you might not be training your legs and your glutes, and you might be not training your abs enough and your core. So as soon as I started training my glutes and my abs, my lower back pain went away straight away. So if you're someone who's if you're a typical brown guy and you're not training your legs, and make sure you train your legs, you need to have massive tree trunks. You want to have lean legs, lean strong legs, because even myself, when I see someone with that massive legs, I just feel like that's not practical. Do you know what I mean? Like if you're a professional bodybuilder and you're trying to get the thickest legs possible, then fair enough. But if you're someone who's an everyday guy who goes to the gym just to try and you want to look good, then I feel like you'd want to have lean legs, strong legs. Once you're going through the process of getting stronger legs, and your legs do end up getting thicker because of the muscle, then that's not a problem. But if you're someone who's got like 40-inch legs, then that's not ideal. So in terms of, how many reps and sets and whatnot do you need to hit, ideally what you want to hit is, the science says, Dr. Andrew Huberman, he says about 5 sets to 15-20 sets. Me personally, I'll try to hit at least 10 to 20 sets per body part per week. But there's also another argument that your muscles don't work on a Gregorian calendar. What that means is your muscles don't know how many times they don't really know if it's Monday, if it's Tuesday, if it's Wednesday, whatever, or anything like that. Because the argument is athletes train multiple times a day. They perform at the highest level possible. But the other argument is you're not an athlete. You're not taking whatever they're taking. Their nutrition is dialed down. They have about 3-4 naps a day. So it's all a little bit, it's a bit, not trial and error, but it's just whatever suits you. As long as you're progressively overloading, you're getting in at least 5 to 15 sets per body part per week. You've got your sleep dialed down. You're training for aesthetics, which I mentioned before, your upper chest, your side delts, your biceps, your abs, your traps, your upper lats. And your neck as well. Neck's overrated, but they did a study. It was with one individual, and they showed a picture of this individual to a bunch of women. The only difference between the picture was the guy had a thinner neck and one guy had a thicker neck. It's the same guy, right? It's just a Photoshop, and 100% of the females said that the guy who with a thicker neck looks more attractive. So yeah, make sure you train your neck as well. And if you want a free aesthetic, focused training. Now, if you want, a training program, how to eat, how to sleep, how to train, then join my free school community. It'll be in the description below. The first one, click on that. Thank you.